Hello, NBA fans, and welcome to. I guess we'll call this the inaugural issue of the NBA Fast Break podcast. I know, Ben, you've done some stuff like this before, but this is my first time being involved with you. I'm super excited. I'm a big NBA guy. I've been in the Michigan market for more than a decade, but getting to talk some NBA stuff is really exciting for me. I know that's kind of your entire world, and you're pretty inundated in doing. First of all, I don't know how you do as many stories as you do. Let's start right there. Slight intro, real quick, on how you crank out like 20 or 30 things a day for the NBA Fast Break site here on Sports Illustrated. Like, that's crazy.
Just like maybe you are with the Michigan world, right? That's just my whole world is the NBA, right? So there's no other thing to focus on, right? It's just what's going on. It's like a second nature to me now.
And there is always something going on with the NBA. I mean, it's filled with kind of this celebrity, this lore, the legends, like all the, we're kind of a little bit at the changing of a guard, so to speak, with the guys that are getting ready to wrap up their career and kind of the new guys coming up, and that's all pretty cool to talk about. But today we're going to focus a little bit on the All-Star game and the All-Star game festivities. They just wrapped up over the weekend, and I guess we'll start with the three-point contest because for the most part, I think people are still digging that. There's not, it's just shooting the ball. We'll talk about the dunk contest momentarily, where there's a lot of back and forth on what that thing is and what it needs to be, and we'll get into that a little bit. But with the three-point contest, it really is just like, let's get the guys out there who can really shoot it. Steph Curry wasn't in it this year. I mean, he's obviously like the best shooter of all time, but there were some other big names in it. I know Damian Lillard was going for the three-peat. He didn't get that done. But what's the kind of the vibe around the three-point contest, as the dunk contest and the game itself are kind of like going through this little bit of a weird time right now?
Yeah, Brandon, I think that's a great point. I really think the 3-point contest is the last thing the NBA can hang its hat on this weekend, right? Like I think that this is maybe what they need to start pushing their cards into, right? The dunk contest is the last event. It's always was the big thing, the dunk contest. Maybe we should flip it around. Maybe the dunk contest should be kind of the appetizer, warm up, and the 3-point contest should be the main prize. Because look, if that's the way the game's going, shouldn't that be what's celebrated at All-Star Weekend? It's kind of like I'm even thinking about this now talking to you, Brandon. It's like at the time when the dunk contest was big, that was when dunking was really big, right?
Right.
Now 3-pointers are big, so maybe they should flip flop it a little bit. And I think that we saw a good performance from a lot of the guys there. It was fun watching Buddy Hield, Tyler Herro, Lillard. Lillard had a good chance at the three-peat. So I really think the 3-point contest, maybe the NBA should start pushing the chips in a little bit.
Well, I will say, full disclosure, had my money on Buddy Hield, and he lit it up in the first round. And I'm like, oh, dude, he's going to charge to the victory. And he shoots more threes than I think anybody in the league, just about it. He just that's really what he was paid to do. He had a great first round and then kind of faltered a little bit down the stretch. And Tyler Herro, I think, won on was it the third or second to last shot that he took? I think, right? He took the victory home and got the win. Yeah. And it's an exciting event when it's close like that. I mean, guys are on the edge of their seats. They're watching those last couple shots go up, and at the end of the day, Tyler Herro does win it for the first time. Like I said, Damian Lillard was going for the three-peat. He had a good outing, but didn't bring it home. I guess just what was the thoughts? With who were you thinking was going to win going in? Are you surprised that it was Tyler Herro? You always hear the different debates on is it more of the set check guy or the guy who jumps real high when he shoots, and Tyler Herro's a pretty high jumper on his jump shot. So I kind of wonder what your thoughts were of how it played out and that Tyler Herro took home the trophy.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Buddy there. I thought I regretted it in the moment. Just when I turned it on real quick, my opinion was, Buddy might get hot and win this, right? But then you also get the famous Buddy cold streak too, right? So yeah. So I mean, he was who I guess kind of I didn't put too much time into picking who's going to win this, but if my surface level was Buddy, I'll give you some 2020 hindsight. It was like Herro actually this is a good competition for, right? If you think about it, just the way he plays, right? It's a lot of his game is actually in a weird way predicated on that shot. When you think about him, it's more of like you think he's kind of he attacks the basket a good amount too. I mean, he's a good scorer, but he really is a shooter in the day too. So it was a good competition for him. Dame was weird that he even, was coming in as the champion, about to win 3 straight because he's a good shooter, but he's more known for those long bombs. He's not known for the right. He's not known for he's known for a guy maybe has a hand in his face and he puts the shot in, right? Like he's not known just as your spot up Buddy Hield. So I think it was a great group of guys. And I think that's too what's cool about it is that the stars want to do the 3-point contest, right? The stars are open to doing it. It's not, they don't feel like they're going to get embarrassed out there. They feel like they can just do it. And I think that's also the problem with dunk contest too. Right now, we're going to get into that, but it's like the 3-point contest actually is something the Stars want to do.
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question on personal interest, hometown hero type stuff? I'm a Michigan guy through and through. I'm a Pistons fan for life. Cade Cunningham, first time All-Star, and was in the 3-point shot contest, which that's not really like his. I mean, he can shoot it fine, but that's not really his game. And I know a little clip kind of. I think it was just a coincidence. Like a little clip went viral of Dame like yawning after Cade Cunningham's first round or something. How did Cade do? Do you think he'll do it again? Is that an event for him? Like I just thought, like when I saw his name on the roster, I'm like, that's not. You'd rather have Malik Beasley rather do it maybe than Cade. I don't know. So I just thought.
I think Malik's done it before too. But but Cade, I think Cade actually would be better for the dunk contest. I think that's not a bad dunk contest one. Not 3-point. That's not really his thing at all. I mean, we talk about a guy like is it Dame's thing, and Dame's a good 3-point shooter. I mean, Cade's a good player, but he's not a shooter like that, right? Like he's not going to go spot up like that. Of course, he's an NBA guy. He's an All-Star. He could win it, theoretically.
Yeah.
That's not his thing. I would love to see him his explosiveness in the dunk contest. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, you give any NBA guy 25 3-pointers uncontested, they should knock down quite a few of them. But okay, all right. Moving off of my own personal interest stuff, let's talk about the dunk contest. It's become a little bit polarizing. You've got Mac McClung now, who's won 3 in a row. He's not even on a team. It's like, all right, I know some people out there are like, this dude's unemployed. He shouldn't even be allowed. I don't know if I'd take it that far. The dude obviously can dunk the ball, but there's 100 dudes on YouTube who can dunk the ball too, and they're not in the dunk contest. So I just wonder, like, what is your opinion on the state of the dunk contest? It's certainly not what it once was. There are no big names in it, haven't been in quite some time. I guess maybe Zach LaVine was maybe the last kind of big name guy to really make a splash, but it needs some resuscitation, it feels like at this point.
Yeah, it really does. I think that they've got to just pick one way or the other. Either, hey, NBA players, you want us to keep this going, we need some of you to actually do it. Real, not 2 rookies and a G League player, right? Like some real. It doesn't have to be LeBron. Fine, we're past that. It doesn't have to be John Morant, but it's got to be someone who's in the league for 6 years, 7 years, right? It's got to be a real player, right? That's what it is. It's the NBA slam dunk contest. It's got to be a player, right? Like you made a great point. Is that like a YouTuber could maybe put on a great event with Mac McClung, right? But that's not the NBA dunk contest. So either pick one or the other. Either it's going to be kind of like a streamer, YouTube, G League can be in on it, great. But it can't just be, this is a big dunk contest. I mean, let's call it what it was. The Vince Carter, introduction of the Bulls rookie and like Stephon Castle and Mac McClung. Come on, like this is a little. It's almost like they were way too. It came across as a little cheesy, right? Because of what it was. It was like you're hyping up, like, guys, you gotta remember, this isn't for you. This isn't for me. This is for the casual viewer, the 12-year-old, the 12-year-old and his dad. Maybe they watch 5 times a year, right? They don't know who these people are.
No.
So it's got to be real, or you got to just revamp it. Maybe, like I said, like some streamers, some G Leaguers. The YouTube is a great point. So that's I think they've got to pick which direction they want to go in with this.
I mean, if you type in like dunking on any social media platform, you'll see some awesome stuff. Whether that would rile up an arena full of NBA fans, I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer, but I think they need to try some different things. I guess that's where I was going to ask you, as someone who covers it every day and definitely has your ear to the ground when it comes to the vibe of this thing. Do you think a contest of quote unquote non-stars would move the needle? I mean, guys like that are just popular because they throw down some dunks on Instagram and they have high verticals. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm a little skeptical of that.
I think maybe it could be along the lines of, like, how they do a halftime show, or they do maybe it's not the NBA slam dunk contest anymore, but it's a dunk contest at All-Star Weekend, right?
Okay.
Because I remember there was a lot of silly stuff with Barkley and Shaq and Kevin Hart that was maybe not even right. So it's like maybe cut out some of that stuff and throw in, hey, we'll do a dunk contest with McClung, and we'll do it with a famous streamer who's got 5 million followers. Like,
sure,
get some kids into it, stuff like that, which is interesting to me. But it wouldn't be NBA dunk contest anymore, right? It would just be, we're celebrating dunks, we're celebrating, you know what I mean? Like, or if some players wanted to compete against a streamer or something like that. But it's either got to be we're having the slam dunk contest and it's got to be 5 year, unless you're an amazing dunker, it's got to be like you got to be a 5 year player or something, just some sort of requirement, right? Or a one-time all-star, maybe a one-time all-star you have to be, right?
Yeah, I mean,
where it's legitimately NBA players doing it. Because you brought up a good point, and people brought up a good point I didn't think about was Mac McClung's not an NBA player. I just remember him from college and stuff, so I remember who he is. But I'm saying if you're the casual viewer, he's not a player.
No.
So that's the problem there.
I'm thinking of my dad, who's like, he used to like the NBA, doesn't really like where it's at now. All I do is try, he's one of those yell at the cloud kind of guys as he's in his 60s. Dude, if he turned on that dunk contest, he'd be like, who the hell are these guys? Who are these guys? Like, and he, Matis Buzelis and like Mac McClung's a G-League.
He was horrible.
Like,
the Bulls guy was dreadful.
It's just not where it needs to be. All right, we'll get you out of here on this. Ja Morant was tweeting, maybe I'll do it. Giannis hacked, whatever. I'll do it too. And a couple other guys jumped in. You're picking 3 guys that have to do it next year. Who are you going with? Who would move the needle for Ben Stinar and the NBA fan for being in the dunk contest?
I mean, I think you got to go with Ja. He would move the needle for a lot of kids too, right? A lot of kids who are a big fan of him. I think that Levine would be good just because of the remembering of the dunk contest that he was in. So, okay, so you got a lot of fans of Ja, people getting a little, nostalgic about Levine coming back in. And then that's a tough one. I think that you got to go with someone who's been like, okay, so you got the older dunk contest, you've got the Ja. I think you got to go with either someone who's like a new star, like a Wemby. Maybe not Wemby. That kind of vibe, right? New star, Jalen Green. I'm gonna go with Jalen Green on the spot. Jalen Green would be great because he's a newer star. Kids like him. People know who he is. I mean, he's not like a star, but he's an NBA player. That's what we're trying to do. And I think he's got that kind of excitement. The other thing I was going to go to if it wasn't Jalen Green was, can we get a guy, not LeBron, but a vibe of a KD LeBron, right? Been around the block. Damian Lillard's not a dunk guy, but like that kind of established guy.
One of the OG members from Shaq's team, right? So some of these guys that have been around.
Tatum, someone been 8-9 years on the block.
Yeah, I hear you. I just can't help but think about the absolute, just the freak show athletes like your Shaden Sharp. He's not the big name either, but like
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Shaden Sharp, the Thompson twins both can fly. I just think about these dudes who can really jump out of the gym. You think back to like Gerald Green, who was, just kind of like a mediocre bench guy. I think he started for a couple years, but he really lit the dunk contest up for a couple seasons there. So I think it needs a change. We'll see what happens. But there you have it. He's Ben Stinar. I'm Brandon Brown. That's our talk about the All-Star Weekend, and we'll see if any of these changes are made. I think they should give Ben a call, have him figure some stuff out. He knows what works and what doesn't. So thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back to talk more NBA soon.